What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? A couple days ago I was talking to a friend at work and they said that they made chili for the family. So, I haven't made chili in a long time, so let's make a basic chili. Let's go ahead and peel this onion. Whatever onion you want to use you can. Don't worry about if it's red, yellow, or whatever. I'm using a white onion because I'm racist. That's a joke. Now if you look at an onion, you're going to see that it's round, right? And it's already kind of broken apart for us. So we don't really have to slice this way. We just kind of keep the root on it. And going this way, we're automatically going to have a bunch of small pieces. I like onion, but I can't have too much of it. I have to avoid it. Recently, because of an MS flare-up, they gave me a bunch of steroids and it turned off my immune system. And when that happened, an interesting thing happened along with it. I was able to start having onions and garlic in food again, but only small amounts. So I'm only going to use a half of onion on this one. If you like onion, put more. It's all right. I will not report you to the authorities. We're going to throw all this inside here. My wife had got some gift cards to Bed Bath & Beyond, and I had ordered this knife because I thought this would be perfect for a lot of small cooking, because I have my big chef knives and stuff, but sometimes I want to use something small. That's what she said. So, olive oil. Yeah, you know something? Just be a heavy tipper. Let's put a little bit more in there. Now inside this right here, we're going to be putting green bell pepper. I didn't buy a bell pepper because I have frozen bell peppers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take some of these, cut them up, and the exact same thing, we're going to throw them inside there. Doesn't really matter what color they are. This gives it more of a fiesta look anyway, right? Got garlic. If you like garlic, put more. I'm going to be putting, they're probably the equivalent to about 2, because a couple of these are kind of small. That's weird. This particular clove smells like weed. Smells like a sativa. All right, here we go. Same thing. Kosher salt. That's probably good. And you could put black pepper. I cannot have black pepper, but black pepper is definitely part of this. This is on a medium heat. We don't want it to be too high, because when we start mixing that garlic, if that stuff is on the bottom, it's going to burn and it's going to taste like caca, right? So we don't want to do that. But I'm going to be adding my seasoning now instead of later, and I find that it just has a tendency to work out a little bit better. So one of the big things you have to add for chili is obviously chili powder, right? Now the chili powder that I'm using here is just straight up chili powder. There's nothing else in it other than ground chili. But when you end up buying chili powder, it has cumin in it, and it also ends up having garlic powder in it. So what we're going to have to do, is we're going to modify that by adding a little bit of garlic powder. If we put too much cumin in it, it's going to start tasting more like that's cumin right there. It's going to start tasting more like a taco seasoning, so we got to be careful of how much we use of that. And if you want this to be spicier, in with the bell peppers, you can also cut up jalapenos or whatever you want. In this particular case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull a Justin Wilson, put a little bit of cayenne pepper in this, right there. That will give it a little bit of heat. Grab one of my magic spatulas. It's not really magic. If you believe that it was magic, you need to get out more, because this is not magic, it's just a normal spatula. And I have been saying this for a long time: when you're cooking, you go by the way things look, the way things smell. And if it looks right and it smells right, most of the time it's going to taste right. One thing that you're going to have a hard time telling by smell is salt, right? But I usually add salt near the end so I don't overdo it. Now the idea of this right here being on medium is to sweat the vegetables. We're not trying to fry them or anything like that. We're trying to sweat them. We're trying to get the juices to release and for them to become tender. As soon as that we can see that the onions are becoming somewhat translucent, we know that we've cooked it long enough to extract that flavor and to tenderize that stuff, that we can start adding our other ingredients. And the hard part is already done, guys. So you're already living in hog heaven. We need to get some ground beef. Traditionally, old school chili, you would actually end up using an actually big piece of meat, and you would boil it until basically it became very tender, and then you would throw it in here. But nowadays, traditionally, people are using ground beef. Let's go ahead and add our ground beef in this. You know, when you have ground beef, you never know really what part of the cow it's from, you know. That's just to make you worry a little bit. This is a very lean ground beef that I'm using right here. Fat has flavor, but fat has, you know, potential health side effects too, you know. A little bit's okay sometimes. In this particular case, we're not going to need it. This is like 93% lean. I wish I was 93% lean, then I wouldn't look so fat. But then my wife would worry that every girl would be after me and can't have that. So I'm fat for her sake. You know, I'm doing her a solid by staying chubby. Actually, I'm really not that fat. It wouldn't hurt for me to lose about 10 or 15 pounds, but it'd only be for vanity. And when I say vanity, I'm talking about, you know, vanity from the Vanity 6. It'd be for her, but she's dead, so it would be for naught. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to let this go ahead and cook up, and then as soon as that meat I know is completely cooked up, we're going to add our other ingredients. Let's see here. It is done by now. Okay. We're doing all right for ourselves. So what we're going to do now, you know, I think we'll watch some Elvis after this. Chili and Elvis? You know it's good. Where the hell's my can opener? I don't even need a can opener. How stupid of me, you know? Anyway, so tomatoes are so important, like when you're cooking stuff like this or anything else with tomatoes, and the quality of the canned tomatoes makes a huge difference. And this I have found to be the best brand of tomatoes. So these are kind of whole, so I keep them in the can and I squeeze them, and then I'll drop them in. But when I'm doing Italian food, I always use this brand. It's so good, and it's got they're ripe, they're sweet. It's just the best. But when you get a good tomato, it really changes the quality of everything that you cook. And this brand, I swear by. This is so good. I'm so glad I found it. Mutti. Okay. If you're using just any other brand of tomato, you might have to add some sugar to it to get rid of some of the well, let's face it, the unripeness. The longer you let these tomatoes cook down and everything, the better. In this case, 10 minutes, right? We don't have to add too much. Now, there's some people that when it comes to chili, they're like, I'm anti-beans, which there's no reason to be anti-beans. You're just a hater if you don't like beans. So when you end up getting a can of beans, there's always juice in it. Now it's up to you to get rid of the juice or not. But within the juice, there's also a lot of the preservatives. So what you can do is rinse the beans before putting them inside there. That's completely up to you. Or you can just drain it and call it good. And I'm going to be using Smith & Wesson kidney. I don't know if that's Smith & Wesson, but I'd like to think that it's a gun brand, you know. And we're going to end up throwing some Kennedy beans inside there. My favorite Kennedy beans are Robert and John F. You can pick the Kennedy beans you want. Part of me thinks another half of a can, but I don't want to open up just a half of a can. Because you can't open up half of a can. You open up the can, and there's half left, but you can't open just half the can. If you only open up half the can, well, you're not going to be able to get nothing out because the can's only half open. And now at this point, I will try the chile to see if it is okay. Okay, I'm going to take a taste. I know it's going to need salt, but I want to see if it needs anything else. That's pretty damn good. Needs salt for sure. Throw a little bit of that in there. It needs spice. I could put more cayenne in it. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the chipotle habanero pepper sauce. Yeah. And we're going to put some of that in there. That'll give it some smokiness. You could also put smoked paprika in this if you wanted to give it smokiness, if you don't really like the heat. You know, this is your chili, man. You do whatever the hell you want. Once again, I will not contact the authorities. Or will I? I'm going to put some more chili powder in there. It's a little subtle. You could put tomato paste in there too. As this sits, the flavors will definitely kind of meld together more. The longer you cook it, the meat becomes more tender, so do the tomatoes and all that other stuff. Okay, so just trying to mix that in and see where we're at with that. A lot of times when you're cooking, it's like doing a painting, you know, and like you have to just keep looking at it and like, well, what does it need? And more color here, more color there. Let's add a little bit more cumin in that. That is fine. The heat is good. I'm going to add a little bit more cumin in that. Ooh, just had some habanero right there. That heated it up. You can also put onion powder in here. You can also put bouillon cubes of beef or chicken. It's up to you, man. I'm only putting this in here because it seems like all chefs put parsley and stuff, and I just want to make it look like I know what I'm doing. You know, I've never really found that parsley makes a huge difference in flavor, believe it or not. It's almost like a garnish, if you ask me, because I've rarely ever seen it make a difference. Things like cilantro makes a difference, absolutely, but parsley has such a weak flavor. That's really good. Let's turn that down to low, and we're going to let that just kind of simmer here for about another 5 or 10 minutes. And we'll be ready to serve. Yeah, that habanero, that definitely kicked up the heat. So we got ourselves a green onion. And what we're going to do is we're going to slice this up. This is going to end up being something that we're going to use for a garnish. Some people will just cut up more of the white onion and they'll throw it on top, which is fine too. Sour cream goes well with this. A little bit of cheese. Some people like cheese, some people don't like cheese. Whatever. I'm a cheese guy. I'm going to put that on my tombstone. He's a cheese guy. But I'm not talking about my pizza, tombstone pizza. Screw that shit. I'm talking about tombstone. When I croak, here lies Dr. Chill. Died from excessive chili poisoning. He was a cheese guy. I like this knife, man. It's really sharp. Good. The thing about when you get good knives like this, you can't let them soak in water or anything like that. As soon as you're done using it, you have to kind of clean it and then dry it. Because if not, it'll become dull, and it will also end up rusting. when you have stainless and stuff, you don't have to worry about that. But good knives, you have to take care of them. My wife likes the onion on top that she can see like this, so I'm going to hook her up. Later on tonight, she better hook me up, you know what I'm saying? All right. It's kind of like the wrong reason to cook, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, we got some cheddar cheese here we'll throw on this bastard. Sprinkle some onion. And put some more green just for the picture. And there you go, guys. Chili. Sour cream in this is great. My wife doesn't like sour cream. She always gets the first serving of this stuff anyway. So anyway, one more thing that we should serve with this is saltines. Crackers are good with that. If you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, all that other good stuff. Make sure you check out my other videos. Stay tuned. If you do subscribe because you're a sucker for punishment, make sure that you hit the bell so you're always notified when I post trash. Anyway, until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later.